All right, welcome back to Central Valley Buzz, everybody. I'm your host, Chuck Leonard. Can I hear it for Jimmy Lyons? Wowee. He'll be back later on the show to sing some more for us, and some of that Christmas music that he's doing, you'll see that Christmas Day right here on the Buzz, because I'm taking the day off to be with my family, darn it. All right, hey, sitting here with me now, Michael Bogart, 21st Century Faith. How's it going? How are you?
I'm doing well.
What's going on? What's new with you?
What's new with me? Well, let's see. I'm about ready to finish up my coursework for my doctorate. Finishing it up this month.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Have you been following any of the trending news?
Yes, I have.
How about the trending news about Jesus?
Well, give me more specifics.
Well, apparently some guy has drawn Jesus, what he thinks Jesus would have looked like, you know, according to some of the information that he has, and he came out looking like a fish.
Well, I don't think I caught that particular
Maybe
piece
it's evolution. Evolution Jesus.
Yeah, I would say that that's probably somebody's joke about Jesus.
You think so?
I do think so.
It's not real?
I doubt it.
Okay. What's your topic this week coming into the holidays?
Well, you know, next week I want to talk about Christmas and some of the events surrounding Christmas. But last week we were talking a little bit about, you know, why it's important to be aware of world religion and the world we live in. And we sort of just barely scratched the surface with that last week, so I thought maybe we'd continue this week.
Well, why don't you pick it up, big guy?
Well, okay. So, you know, I don't know if you saw that today the Los Angeles schools were closed.
Yes.
Because
they had a cyber threat.
Right. And I don't know what was behind that at this point, or whether even anybody knows what was behind that, but it follows really closely on the heels of that San Bernardino incident, and then the Paris incident, and then and then we can go back and back and back with incidents.
How times change. Remember when you just pulled the fire alarm?
Yeah, I do. I remember those days. I remember the kid that did it too, and he disappeared for a few days after that.
I cleared out SeaWorld one time.
Well, Chuck, I don't doubt it one single bit. But it's important that we understand, you know, what's driving some of this stuff today. And I don't think I want to get focused on, you know, the terroristic aspects of Islam or you know, just some of the negative things. But since I've taught world religion for the last 20 some odd years at West Hills Community College, I've found that it's important that people have some kind of basic understanding of at least the major religious points of view for a number of reasons.
What, like treat people how you want to be treated?
Well,
eye for an eye?
Well, I don't know about eye for an eye, but certainly a lot of world religions teach respect for others as you would want to be respected. Of course, Jesus called that the golden rule, but it was also said by Confucius about 500 years before Jesus, kind of in the other way, don't treat people in a way you don't want to be treated. So the idea has been around for a long time in many different religions. But lots of other issues come up. Like, for example, we live in such a pluralistic society today. I mean, we talked last week, Fresno. Fresno has people of almost every major religious group. You can go around town.
And that's a good thing, right?
Well, I think that is a good thing. You know, you go around town, you find Hindu temples, you find Buddhist temples, you find Jewish synagogues, all kinds of different slices of Christian churches. Of course, there's mosques. There's at least 2 different mosques here in Fresno. So just to be aware of the different religions is part of Fresno life, and life in a lot of other large cities in the United States and Western countries as well. So that's just one reason.
When I was doing my tour of all the different churches in Fresno, one of the things that I would tell people was, you know, I'd go to church, wouldn't know a soul, wouldn't know anything about their religion, but the welcoming arms were always there.
Most churches are like that. Most religious groups are like that. Some better than others, obviously, but
some have a tighter grip.
Well, yeah, I think so. But by the same token, you know, people want people to come in and be a part of what's going on, and so naturally they reach out. So, but I think it's really important that we understand where other people are coming from these days.
Have you gone to a lot of different churches?
Oh yeah, I have. For example, I was baptized in the Congregational Church as a baby. Then we joined the Lutheran Church, and I was confirmed. Went to Catholic school for 2 years. Let's see. Then I became part of the Jesus movement back in the 70s, and I've been part of the Baptists ever since, with my theological training at Denver Seminary.
It's a wonder you're okay.
Well, you know, I'd like to think my mind is fairly broad on some issues, yeah. But I have seen it all. When I went went to St. Joseph Academy in Brownsville, Texas, our bishop was Bishop Medeiros, who later became Cardinal of Boston.
Wow.
You know, so I mean, we really, I had the privilege of meeting some fairly important people.
He must have been strict.
Why?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, he was a bishop, for Pete's sake. I mean, come on. Yeah, but you know, and so I think it's important to kind of to understand. You don't have to agree with everybody, but to understand the major religious points of view is so important in the world that we live in.
And just because someone has a different religion than yours doesn't mean that you can't respect their religion.
That's exactly right. Doesn't mean you can't become friendly with those people, understand them, work together with them.
You see, the problem is that sometimes you try to be nice and understand them, and they want to fight about it and say they're right and you're wrong.
Absolutely.
That's how wars start.
Well, that's true. And different kinds of Christians will make that statement. Muslims will make that statement. Pretty much every religious group has that segment of the group that will say we're right and everybody else is wrong. And you know, and of course, let's take Christianity. Christianity is premised on the issue that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, who died on the cross, rose again. Those are kind of non-negotiables for Christians. But how Christians live in a society where other people don't agree with them on that, that's what we're really talking about. You've got to be able to get along while holding to your distinctive views.
When children are taught early, church, God, Jesus, all that stuff, does it stick with them longer?
I think studies have shown that if a person is raised in a particular religion, they tend to stick with that over time, although certainly there are lots of exceptions to that.
Yeah, they could get turned off to it also, right?
Well, that's...
A lot of people come to religion later on in life.
The downside of it is if you've had some bad experiences or somehow it didn't work for you as you were growing up, you tend to leave it far behind.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, as a child growing into a teenager and starting to make decisions for yourself, you know, some of this stuff can sound a little outlandish.
Yeah, and of course it depends on the friends that you have and the life circumstances, you know, whether your family's intact.
The presentation?
Absolutely.
Right.
Whether or not church people were nice to you, or you know, whether you had a good experience or not, all that kind of plays into it. And of course, you and I have talked before about, you know, the whole millennial generation that right now is not really involved in active Christianity.
You know, kids raised on Call of Duty rather than the Bible.
Right.
You know, it's hard to get the Bible in their head when they're shooting and killing people on the TV set.
That's right. And the violent programs that we have, and now, of course, we've talked about the internet and the negativity that people encounter on the internet. That's all played a role in this whole situation that we're talking about.
Awesome. Did you bring a DVD with you this week?
I did. Like last week, I'm giving away the first person that emails in. By the way, I had a really interesting encounter with one of the takers last week. First person that emails at the address that's going to be on the screen there, info@aspectministries.com, will send you a free 45-minute Bible. It's a summary of what's in the Bible with some of the issues connected with it.
I know these guys are trying to roll us out right now, but I want to know about that encounter that you had with the person on your email.
Well, I got an email this morning saying, you know, do you still have one of those 45-minute Bible videos that you're giving away? And I said, for you, absolutely. And they said they loved watching your program and they loved my segment.
Well, there you go. Right
there you go.
It's me making you real. That's what it is.
Oh, it was just you in disguise. Oh, no. You just blew it.
Michael Bogart, always good to see you, buddy.
All right,
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Go check him out, mindcuisine.com.
That's right.
Okay. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Stick around.